Hello, everyone, and welcome to RevitalyzeMD, all things aesthetics and wellness podcast with me, your host, Dr. Deborah Durst. And today, not only do I have my co-host, but I have the team with us to talk about it. Yay. So do you want to introduce yourselves?
Sure. Hi, I'm Meredith, and I am one of the skincare specialists and laser technicians here at RevitalyzeMD. And I've been a part of the group for a couple of years now. And we're going to talk about body contouring and some of the newer devices that we have to offer you all today.
I'm Marissa Staten. Nice to meet you guys again. And here we are today talking about body contouring. And thank you very much for having us.
And I'm Faraday Golombieski, nurse practitioner here at RevitalyzeMD.
And the co-host that's on every podcast.
Yeah. Nice, easy, quick,
co-entertainment. But now we have the whole team for entertainment. And so, we're going to talk about some new body contouring devices. Before we get started, though, please subscribe, and share with friends. Helps us get the podcast to be a little more seen and popular and get the word out there. So we have, for couple years now, offered a pretty solid base of body contouring devices. And so we'll talk about those. TightSculpting is like the Mac Daddy of those. And so we can start there because that was a great one. So TightSculpting, BodyFX, and Forma Plus were the three that we really use with some Morpheus in there sometimes too. But if you wanted to talk about TightSculpting a little bit, we can start there. And then we'll talk about all the new treatments that we do.
You want to talk about TightSculpting?
Yes, TightSculpting is a two-step process that is going to tighten the skin as well as kill fat. We have been doing TightSculpting treatments for about 3 years now, and with great success. If you are concerned with loose skin or saggy skin, we can also fix that with that. TightSculpting and Cellulite. It's amazing what we can do.
It's one of my favorite treatments.
In 6 treatments, we can change your life.
And I think she even downplays her role in all of that because again, the TightSculpting is done by a machine called Fotona, Dynamis Pro, But anyhow, regardless, it is a beast of a machine and a hard one to use. And Marissa is the bomb on it, and Meredith is too. Marissa knows how to work that machine like no one else, and then obviously has now a team approach with Meredith and Marissa, and it's amazing, this treatment. But it's the one treatment. So if you look at CoolSculpting or anything else that does fat reduction, or even our BodyFX that does fat reduction and skin tightening, you cannot just get skin tightening. And that's what I love about TightSculpting, is that you can do fat reduction and skin tightening. You can do fat reduction, or you can just do skin tightening. And there is no other machine that I know of that can do that.
And this is something we have talked about before in other podcasts. We talked about the difference between TightSculpting and CoolSculpting. So definitely check that one out because it is interesting. Mm-hmm. And I'll leave it at that, and we'll go right back to the expert on TightSculpting.
Correct. Well, that is definitely one that you're only going to get fat, no skin tightening, and so you never want that. She's so much nicer than I am when it comes to CoolSculpting.
Yeah,
for sure. But this is the one where you can do both, or you can do either or. But this is the only one that I know that you can just do skin tightening with such amazing results. It's a robotic arm, so it's quick, and you can treat a larger area. And you guys can talk more about any discomfort that happens with it.
We have a Zimmer, which blows cold air that helps with the first step of the TightSculpting. So it's a little hot, but it is very comfortable. If not, we're going to talk about that. Step 2 is a little uncomfortable, but it's over very fast. And that's what actually tightens the skin. So you definitely want that as the shrink wrapping step. Again, the other treatments that we offer do not tighten the same way. This one does a great job of shrink wrapping, but also thickening the skin. That's why people keep coming back. They're safe enough to do once a month for the rest of your life if you want it. Mm-hmm. But after 6, you may not need that.
Well, and you can do such a large area in such an efficient amount of time.
And that's the difference between the TightSculpting and a lot of the other, even the newer devices that we have. That's the only one that's really we can use anywhere on the body, and you can actually see the visible shrinking of the skin, tightening all over the place. So obviously there are areas of the body that we would prefer to do TightSculpting over other things like BodyFX or the Transform by Evolve that we've done with a lot of other people. There are certain things depending on who you are, what your age is, and what kind of laxity that you have in your skin happening right now. That's kind of what makes you a better candidate for certain treatments over the other. And we will kind of get into that a little bit more too, why as it's more important for you if you are over the age of 40 and you're already having that laxity. If you do have cellulite or you do have a lot of adipose tissue that's around like the stomach or under the butt, that banana roll area, that's why you may be a better candidate for tight sculpting, because that it's a harder area to get to and it's a larger area. So we can really focus in on those areas while tightening the skin. Whereas the BodyFX and the BodyFX Mini and even the Forma, those are not quite as, those are better for the skin tightening aspects. Whereas Fotona, we really want to try to focus in on killing the fat and then tightening the skin over top of that. Exactly. So I don't know if we want to talk about.
Well, definitely those harder and larger areas that's a key.
The
right.
difference is
Absolutely.
because there's the light therapy for the Fotona, because you're getting 2 nanometer wavelengths. It's going 2 different depths. The 1064 is going very deep. So you're doing deep heating, and then you're going to be shrink wrapping with the 2944, the second step. So that is going to be different from what you're going to get with radiofrequency. So you're going to kill fat and smooth out fat and cellulite also with radiofrequency, but the Fotona tight sculpting is going to go deeper because of the light therapy and the depth that it goes into the dermis.
So when you're talking with Marissa or Meredith, or you're in a consult, it's really important to really know what your goals are of treatment as well, because that will also make a huge difference in what body contouring device they recommend, along with having someone that has the expertise, as these wonderful, beautiful ladies here, to really be able to go, okay, I hear you, and this laser is just not going to do it, but this one will get us there. Mm-hmm. Or, okay, we can do this one, but it's going to take double the treatments that we would typically need to do. So the experience of the technician, along with really being able to verbalize what your goals are as a patient, I think is really important. And then, of course, like I said, the experience of the ladies here.
Yeah, it's great.
And the size of the area matters as well.
Right. You can kind of, it's funny because when you sit down for a consultation and telling us what exactly you're looking for, it's almost immediate that we'll have a vibe as soon as they kind of sit down. Well, this is probably going to be what's best for you. Mm-hmm. And there's definitely multiple avenues that you can take for any type of body contouring that you're looking for, but there's always a better method. So we can try to find you the most, depending on your budget, the most cost-effective and quickest route to reach your specific goal, because our goals may not be your goals. So it's important that you're just open and honest about exactly what the issue is and what time frame you're looking at, and also what might be in your budget. And we can try to find the best fit for that.
I think like the big thing is we will leave names and links to these different treatments and devices in the show notes. But more importantly, again, we do this on the website frequently, is just don't get caught up in the science of these treatments or the names, because the science is changing all the time. Mm-hmm. And you need to find an office and providers you trust. Tell them what your goals are, and they'll lead you in the right direction. And the nice thing about it is we have so many different treatments that we can tailor it and customize it to your needs and goals and results.
Absolutely. If you're in an office that only has one treatment, of course, they're going to tell you that's the treatment you need. So definitely that plays a huge part in where you're going, to make sure that they have a lot of different treatments available, to make sure that you're getting the appropriate treatment for you and your needs.
Right. And there may be a sequence of
these
different
two
things.
are the bomb for that. And so again, they'll tell you exactly what you need.
Whether you want to hear it or not.
Yeah. Sometimes we don't want to hear it. In this office I'm talking about. But anyhow, so then another of our, again, older treatments, well, 2 of them, BodyFX and Forma. Just to say quickly, BodyFX is a fat reduction, skin tightening with radiofrequency. Forma does radiofrequency, just skin tightening. those are ones that we did. But now we've almost moved to doing those in a different manner now with our new Evolve system. And so we'll talk about those 3 treatments that kind of, it's not that they replace, but sometimes we'll do smaller areas now with the Contora BodyFX, MiniFX machine and Forma. If you've ever heard of it, it's just a great like pre-event glow. It's lifting, collagen building. A lot of times we're doing it on the face now, face and neck, and so lower face lifting, but it's more of a maintenance or prevention for someone younger than it is it's not gonna do a big lift like our 4D or Morpheus. But anyhow,
over 40 crowd.
Yeah.
We need a little bit more lifting. We need a little bit more in the means of having that collagen elastin production. We need a little bit more, ladies.
That's right. So this new machine, Evolve, has pretty much replaced those on a continuous basis and is a great way for patients to get, on a regular basis, treatments that are affordable and effective. So if you wanted to talk a little bit about
and these are our newer
which is the Mac
treatments.
Daddy one. Yeah.
So we started with the Evolve, and Transform was probably the first of the 3 treatments that we offer with the new EvolveX. And it is the best possible machine because it does the skin tightening, it does the fat killing, burning, and it also does the EMS, the muscle stimulation, all at the same time. So it has 6 different electrodes, and what's nice about those, you can kind of separate those out a little bit to target a couple of different areas at the same time, but within the same region. So if you have bra fat that you would like to target, but you don't want to put those electrodes specifically all over you don't want to put them directly on the spine, but we can kind of stretch them out a little bit. So you've still got a little bit of space to lower those a little bit, because everybody has a little bit of fat in the middle of their back. Everybody deals with love handles. We've all got similar issues, especially over the age of 40. So that's great. We can get you strapped on, get it to the proper heating sensitive. So we're around the 42, 43 Celsius temperature to really keep you heated for X amount of time. Typically, once you're strapped on, it's about 30 minutes. You'll immediately feel that heat warm up. It's really comfortable. We really don't have anybody complaining of overheating. It's really for those people that like that extra hot shower. It's kind of the perfect treatment for them. They're staying super heated. And then the EMS, we can kind of fluctuate a little bit depending on what kind of muscle stimulation they're used to. If there's somebody that doesn't really work out or train, we can go really low on that, like a 5 or 10. Those people that really want that EMS strong, almost like a workout, but also having the heated, they can crank it way up to 20, and it's still comfortable. People are, cozy with a blanket, and they're all heated, and they're also getting a workout while they're in there strapped on. So that one has been a huge success, and everybody seems to love it.
And it can be on the abs, it can be above the knees where the skin there gets a little bit loose. It can be the back of the thighs as well. So there's other places that are just the bra fat. And
saddlebags. We've been doing it on saddlebags. We've been
back of the arms, bra fat.
And she can go into the tight a little bit, since those are smaller electrodes, and it's easier to put those on the arms and probably the lower part of the leg where we're using smaller straps. So I'll let Marissa talk about that a little bit.
Well, the tight is, like she said, like Meredith said, it's great for the arm area or smaller areas. There are small electrodes that you can fit more in an area and really go around the round area of the knee. I love it for the tightening of the skin, because we all are worried about the wrinkles above our knee. And this really does a great job of tightening there. I like to use it on my arms, the upper arms, because we're all worried about the fat under our arms. I'm not going to show you mine, okay?
Right down here.
The jiggle driver.
Yes, I can fit 4 electrodes under my arm here to help with tightening the skin there. And everybody needs that, right? If you're over the age of 35, you're probably going to need some tightening around the arms. So that's been my favorite. You can also go a little higher on the thighs. So if you have some loose skin, say around the lower buttock area, you can put them there as well. Usually if we're going to be in that area, we might, look at more of the Transform instead. But the tight is amazing.
The difference between that is, so like, again, Evolve is the machine. We'll kind of put these in the show notes.
Platform.
Transform does, so that's the platform. Transform does fat, skin, and muscle, and Tight does fat and skin. And so different sizes of electrodes fit different areas, but sometimes it's not a muscle issue.
Right.
You know, it's more of just, you know, that tightening of the skin and getting rid
They're
of fat.
so amazing.
It
You
is,
see them
yeah.
so fast.
Yep. And there's a third part to that unit as well, which is toned.
Yeah.
And that is more for pelvic floor, lower abs. We're doing that a lot with some sexual wellness, also with some strengthening for incontinence. I liked it because it gave the EMS, and it does EMS and
Just EMS.
just EMS.
Just EMS.
Just
Is it
tone
just
does,
the EMS?
Yeah. Does
It's
EMS.
just
So it's just muscle, but again, we have a
Oh, it
better
takes like a
machine
low.
for muscle, but that one I think is good if you're going to just put it on when they're doing the sexual wellness for women, and you just put it lower so that you're getting
That
lower,
pelvic floor.
pelvic floor and lower abdominal muscles. So that's a great add-on then.
So there's-
but
There was
otherwise-
immediate results with that
Electrodes.
one too.
That
Yeah.
platform
Really
has
like
those
tone.
3. Yep.
Oh,
Electrodes for all the
patients.
areas.
Yeah, patients love the tone, especially when you put it on the lower abs.
Yeah.
But one of our favorites is another machine that we have and does a lot of muscle. And Meredith will tell you about this one. It is one of our favorites. So again, I like to combine. So if somebody has that opportunity, and we have some memberships available, or treatment packages where you can do it on a weekly basis for a very affordable price, so that you're committing to either like 3 months, 12 treatments, or you can do it more on a yearly and weekly basis. But if you can, sometimes, adding Transform down here or Tone down here and doing abs, with the muscle machine. But the muscle machine's amazing. And I'll let Meredith tell you about that because she's all muscle. If you haven't
Oh,
seen her,
yeah.
she's all muscle.
They
muscle.
claim all muscle.
She is. She is.
So she's referring to the AcuFit, and I know that we've touched on that before, and we might have done a previous session on the AcuFit, but
When we first
just to
got
touch, to touch base on that again, it is strictly just the EMS. So you're looking at muscle stimulation with this. So again, we can attach this to your larger muscle groups are typically the most attractive to people. Everybody, for men, it's kind of like the back, the abs, the glutes, the quads, the hamstrings. Those are our most common. And obviously those are the things that when people go to the gym, they are training on those the most. Those are the things that are going to burn the most amount of calories. Those are the things that are going to increase your metabolism. So while using this, this muscle stimulating machine, you're also increasing metabolism, you're burning calories, you're doing all the things. So you can range yourself all the way up to as high as it will go, starting out down very low to where you're really just kind of getting things working, because it's just kind of like a workout. You don't want to go and bench press 300 pounds if this is your first time in the gym. Mm-hmm. So typically we'll start kind of low, get that stimulation happening. And what's great about AcuFit also that people were kind of concerned about in the beginning is it goes through 4 phases of different steps. So the very last step is like a tapping motion. So it actually tries to remove the lactic acid that's built up throughout that treatment. So you're not going to be sore. It may be a little bit tender to the touch, which is good. You know that it has done its job. Mm-hmm. You've got to work out in, but that deep soreness or that delayed onset muscle soreness that you would typically feel if you've really trained something, especially a large muscle group in the gym, you're not going to have that same feeling. So as it goes throughout, it's all of its phases, twisting and tapping and holding. Gripping. It's really cool because you can feel the changes of those different movements, no matter which muscle group that you choose to attach it to. So it really is our favorite for just contracting that muscle. Because even though you feel like, hey, I'm going to the gym, I do legs all the time, I do glutes all the time, I do abs all the time. It's totally different because most people don't know how to specifically activate one specific muscle group at a time. Exactly. So you have no choice with this particular machine to be able to activate just that one group. you're relaxing otherwise and just working on your core. You're relaxing and just working on your glutes. It's very, very hard to activate your glutes without doing squats or step ups
and lunges.
Activate. Yeah, you're using your knees, or most of us have terrible knees at this point.
Yeah.
Terrible knees and strong hamstrings, but weak glutes, and vice versa. So this forces you to just activate that group, and therefore people get great changes really quick as long as their body composition is within, a healthy range. So we can talk a little bit more about body composition and the importance of everything else kind of being in line, eating a healthy diet, lifting weights otherwise. We can get into a little more of the details of trying to get all of this surround us to getting
because
best case scenario.
Patients have to do their part too.
Right.
Absolutely.
And so,
Where
Gotta do the work.
AcuFit is more for those that are looking to supplement their workout. So if we're looking to reduce fat and we're looking for a fat reduction, skin tightening, that's where the EvolveX platform is amazing. If we're looking to strengthen those muscles and isolate those muscle groups, as Meredith was talking about, to supplement our workout, or, I hate doing abs, but I love the AcuFit because I can feel those obliques tighten. I can feel each muscle group go. I can feel that twist as if I'm doing those sit-ups, and I can supplement my workout at home with weightlifting. And do I still have to do my sit-ups? Yes.
Right.
But I might not have to do them that week.
It's a supplemental piece. It's not meant to replace. It's meant to, use as a part of your training routine. And that's where you're going to get the best results out of it.
Absolutely.
I feel like our perimenopause, menopause women like the Evolve and Transform because of the fat and skin tightening. But I feel like if you're if you're into fitness and you're fit, AcuFit is the machine that you'll love, because, and again, the ab workout is equivalent to approximately 67,000 sit-ups in a 30-minute period. And I feel like men probably work out abs, at least I seem to hear that over and over again, where they're lifting a lot and they're very active, and so the core's involved, but it does seem like they don't maybe work out just the abs as much as maybe women do. I could be wrong, but I seem to hear that over and over again.
So.
All right.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Yeah. And then, again, so doing their part. So Meredith is great at, talking to people about, fitness and nutrition and, doing your part with this, because you have to. There's none of these machines are just going to work by themselves if the patient's not doing the work too.
You can eat at McDonald's every day and have, great high hopes of, getting lean by getting some vegetables in every day. But just because you're eating a vegetable every day, doesn't mean that you're still going to see the results that you want. So kind of looking at the big picture of trying to, use this as a supplemental, exercise alongside of all the other things that you're already doing to try to, get your body where it needs to be and where you want it to be, and continue to improve.
And we do offer, again, we have a great, nutrition health food store right next door, vitamin store, Eddie's Health Shop. So we have partnered with them and do bod pods with them, so body composition test, because we really want that for our patients.
Well, we want them to see the progress.
Yeah.
Because I think sometimes you don't realize your progress until you have something on paper like a bod pod that says,
pictures,
look at these changes.
Pictures don't do it justice either. You really need to see, you need to see. The scale is just one method, and that could be, you could be retaining 6 pounds of water in one day. And some people may think that are just not educated, don't know better. My gosh, I gained 6 pounds of fat, in one day. And obviously that is not possible.
Yeah.
But knowing how much lean tissue you have and knowing how much body fat you have, that just helps paint that whole picture of what you really need in order to get the results that you want.
Correct. And if we're doing peptides or the body composition, we recommend they do the bod pod next door. It's included in the programs. And so if you have a place that you can do it, and Meredith does have an online recommendation to find a place that does body composition test, but also, again, the scale doesn't always tell it because you might gain weight with muscle formation, and yet your clothes feel better and your pictures look much better and you're much more toned. So a number is not alone weight-wise or picture-wise going to capture it, but body composition helps give you an objective
Absolutely.
number and
And
change
as-
over time.
And as we're building muscle, we may see that weight go the wrong way for a short amount of time as we're losing that fat. So very important to keep in mind.
Yeah. So where was the online? You had an online.
There's for people that are just wanting in general testing. It can be lactate threshold testing. It can be caliper testing. It can be bod pod testing. Obviously, we've got the bod pod next door, but if you want, it's called fitnessity.com. So anywhere in the country, you can find any type of body testing. So whether it be from a lung capacity standpoint to a body fat testing standpoint to your lean mass testing, you can find any type of testing in any area of the country by going to fitnessity.com.
So all of those that are not from here in Knoxville,
not
there is
local.
your resource.
Yep.
Yeah. And otherwise, we love, again, using the bod pod and partnering with Eddie's to get those objective numbers included as part of, the programs when we're doing these body contouring devices and treatments. So if you're here or you're using our office, or if you're not, Eddie's next door to us is a great place to get a body composition that gives you those objective numbers. So again, we'll put show notes with the devices and treatments, so AcuFit, Evolve, Transform, all those names. And again, worrying about the science and the names of the machine are less important than really if you have the links, you can read about them. If you're here and seeing us, we will guide you to what you need based on what your desired results are. So anything else you think we need to include? Otherwise, liking and subscribing. Definitely make sure you subscribe, give us some feedback, share it with friends, and let us know any of your experiences with any body contouring devices that you might have used. And again, just remember, I want to thank everyone for being here. And
Thank you.
And, again, the more we can have talking about the treatments, the better. And again, just subscribe, share so that we can get the podcast out there, the YouTube videos out there, and get the word out there. So we're here to revitalize your look, your health, and your sex life. And thank you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.